I'm sitting there last night just looking around the league going, I think a 9-0 win has to start the show.
Yeah, best win of the season for the Leafs, but most dramatic loss of the season for the Devils of any NHL team.
It could get Fitzy fired.
I think now that we're sitting here midday, the next day after, he's not fired, that he's not going to be fired within the next 12 hours.
Yeah, but like,
fine.
Sometimes like Babcock, I think, was fired
After practice.
the second last game of his tenure, right?
Okay.
It was the Kasky-Swo game against the Penguins, and they're like, okay, we're firing him. But then they had a game in Vegas. They go to Vegas. They lose again. It's Patan getting robbed by...
I agree. Like, this is amongst the things we're putting on the list of why he is fired when he gets fired. But I just mean, like, literally right now, I don't think he's getting fired today. But I think in maybe 48 hours, if things keep trending the way they are.
You know what's going to be really funny? When he's fired as soon as the show is uploaded. Like Greg Wyshynski laid it out pretty well. Yeah. I think they have 2 or 3 games before their next home game on January 14th. And if they don't do something significant or win a few games, like that game is going to be hell.
Well, I just want to say the Leafs did allow Babs to conduct morning skate the day after Vegas. Like they let him do the practice and then they fired him after the practice. Did you know that?
I forgot it.
That happened.
Yeah, so they needed someone to run it.
Practice for the Devils, as of this recording, starts in about half an hour. But I don't think Sheldon Keefe's on the block.
I don't think Fitzgerald should have anything to do with practice, right? Like,
no.
So I feel like the firing would have come already if he's going to be fired. Yep. And you're talking about the schedule there. Yeah, they play Pittsburgh on Thursday, and then there's 2 days off, Friday, Saturday, and then they play Winnipeg, Minnesota, back-to-back Sunday, Monday.
On the road.
It's the game on Tuesday last night. The thing that Sheldon Keefe talked about, where he thought they had a good performance and all that, like
we'll get to
the clip. But the thing that's most egregious for me is that's the game after the Luke Hughes game.
Yes,
that's the game where your entire fan base turns on one individual, and your captain's got to come out when he's not scheduled to speak. Everybody's got to rally around him. And then you follow that up with one of the worst performances in franchise history.
Well, let me put that into history for you, Jeff.
That's your response to one of the children on your team getting bullied by the entire fan base. That's embarrassing.
This is the worst Devils shutout loss, according to Leo Scaglione Jr., who is for sure from New Jersey. Since March 31st, 1986, a 9-0 loss to the Rangers. So another New York team. These were the only 2 times in team history that they have lost by 9+ goals and were shut out. It is also in the expected or goals saved and goals saved above expected era. It's the worst single performance by any goaltending since that stat was tracked. I think he was a -7 point something, which is bonkers.
Crazy. So that means
the expected goals, by the way, for the Devils were about 2.5. The Islanders was about 1.84.
So by expected goals, the Devils should have won the game.
By every metric, the Devils should have won the game.
So here's what that stat means, like in very layman terms. Markstrom allowed 7 goals he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And he was in for all 9, which is crazy, and we're going to get to it.
So just for the stat Adam's talking about, it's from moneypuck.com. They tweeted out, "We have confirmed new worst goalie performance of the modern stats era going back to 2007. Jacob Markstrom's goal saved above expected is a -7.57. Actual goals against 9.
And by the way, can I say something? Can I just say something?
What?
This guy has been a spectacular goalie most of his career. But if I told you before the beginning of the season, hey, Jake Markstrom is going to put in the worst statistical performance of any goalie since 2007, would it have shocked you that it was his name?
No.
Me neither.
Really?
No, not at all.
That's lame.
Not even a little bit.
No,
a little bit.
He is
hot and cold as they come.
One of the least predictable goalies over the past. How long has he been in the league? That long. Mm-hmm. He can be Vezina. He can literally be Vezina caliber, and I think he's gotten many Vezina votes many times. That would be on Hockey Reference. It also doesn't really matter. There have been seasons where he's been incredible. Some of those seasons he put up in Vancouver were ridiculous. Other times, there's a lot of nights where he is the reason you lost.
I mean, he's the goaltender who didn't tend the
Who
goal.
didn't tend the goal?
He's the one that's based on.
Jacob Markstrom built Steve's Dangets. He built it brick by brick. That man, well, I don't know how many of them he was out of the net for yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I need to allot 45 minutes to watch the film from that one on account of he allowed 9. But yeah, that guy's like the worst puck handling goalie I've ever seen.
Can I add to Tom Fitzgerald's list of things for reasons why he should be fired? And the big one is Jacob Markstrom.
Sure.
Because on October 31st, 2025, he decided to give Jake Markstrom the 2-year extension for $6 million per season.
He extended him on Halloween.
Yeah, this year we talked about it on the show when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a lot has happened since then.
This season,
no.
without the resume of maybe you play out this season a little and then you give him the extension, he decided to give him that money.
And Jesse, let's add to that, because when he signed that extension, which was in October 31st, there was a game in October against Colorado where he was in for all 8 goals against. So they signed that contract knowing that, and he's 35.
Sheldon has left him in for an 8 spot and a 9.
Yes.
Like, are the Devils in the middle of a back-to-back right now?
No.
No. They day off today, and then they go to Pittsburgh on Thursday.
Why did he do that?
I couldn't figure that out either. I don't know what the reasoning would be to keep him in there, because Jake Allen can play hockey.
There's a moment too in the game where Markstrom goes over to the bench because he thinks he's coming out, and then he's not coming out, and he goes back to the goal.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It was ugly.
Yeah, and Sheldon Keefe called a timeout when it was 3-0.
Oh, no, the Keefe timeout?
Yeah, the early
Oh,
timeout.
First
no.
2 shots of the game went right past him.
Listen, like, we don't know. Like, just because Allen's available as the backup doesn't mean he is, if that makes sense. Like, maybe there's a good reason, but if not, I mean, you can't leave your goalie in
No,
for 9.
Keefe explained it in his post game. Like, he talked about how he left him out there, and then once he left him out there for 4 and then 5, it was just like, okay, you're gonna play out the rest of the game.
I guess.
He
Like,
explains his decision making, and in there he doesn't say anything about Allen not being available.
there was a game a few years ago. Al Montoya was the backup of the Habs, and they had Carey Price, and Habs were getting killed. They allowed like 10 goals that night or something, and they left Montoya in for all of them. But the reason they did that is because they were using Price the next night, or had just used him or whatever. So, oh boy, 9 is tough. And also, are you bringing that up?
Eventually,
the-
Nothing to do now.
They lit him.
The interrogation room.
They lit him like they just discovered a new deep sea creature.
You're talking about Sheldon Keefe in his post game.
Yeah, this is when. Yeah, it's no longer the
angel flying away
that he does.
So,
It's, no,
for
he's
context,
some sort of squid.
This happens when you're on the road because you don't have your home set up where you have your backdrop to do everything. So you often find the PR people and the camera people just finding a hall to do these things on the roads. And I guess at UBS Arena, there's not a good adequate place for the coaches to do their post game scrum.
I want this lit like an illegal poker game.
Yeah, this okay. I gotta say,
What?
why do NHL teams? UBS is a pretty new arena. Why not just make a small well-lit studio?
you don't want to make things comfortable for the road team.
At all?
In every case,
Yeah, but it's professionalism. Like the league should look
it's
at that.
sports. It's not professionalism. It's I'm trying to win this game, and even if you can make their post game scrums look ugly, I'm doing it.
Wow, I just don't know if that's good for the TV watching audience, but okay.
I want this lit like a pub whose draft beer gives you 2-day hangovers.
Now, before we play,
that's what I want it lit.
before we play this, I do want to know, or do want to let you know that the Devils did put up an effort. There was over 40 shots, and Islanders goaltending is pretty good this year.
Gritsuk was on. The Devils outshot the Islanders something like 16-7 when he was on the ice.
Yeah,
They lost 9-0.
and obviously the Islanders only put 20 on the Devils.
It was Ilya Sorokin's first game back from injury, and he looked phenomenal.
Looks like he's good at hockey.
Yeah. Hasn't missed a step.
So, do you want to get into the Sheldon Keefe?
Oh,
It's
more than I
5
want
minutes
air.
long.
Sheldon, that has to be a tough one to digest when you sort of look 40-plus shots, no goals, and then 9 on the other side. I mean, how do you even sort of wrap your head around this?
Yeah, obviously makes it a challenge because there's a lot of things that we did well that led to us probably offensively in terms of chance generation, the best game we've played in a really long time offensively. But at the same time, the way we started the game in terms of the quality of chance that we gave up, that's unacceptable. And that,
So he's not
it's a hole that
putting it all on Markstrom.
it's hard to get out of. So hated how we started the game in terms of the chances we gave up. I mean, at 2-0, I looked up the shots were 6-2 for us. At 3-0, I looked up, I think they were 12 or 14-5. So it is a difficult game to process from that sense. But the way we started and then really the way we finished the game as well are unacceptable.
Was there thought process, I'm sure there is thought process, obviously, behind leaving Market. Is that a thing you want him to battle through? This is a team game. You got to dig out to get, how did you gauge that?
It's all part of it. I mean, my thought process on it is, like I said, I didn't like the quality of chance that we had given up, and Markey has been playing quite well for us, and I thought deserved the opportunity to stay in.
Wow.
Through the first period, and decided to go back out with him again in the second. And once that next one goes in for me, now it's just he's just got to own it. He's just got to battle through the rest of the game. So that's really it. But like I said, a lot of it was just the quality of the chance that we've given up, then the mistakes that were made leading up to that chance. I don't think it was fair. It would be fair to just put it on the goaltender in that case. And then once they keep going in, now it's too far gone, and now it's I don't want to put Jake in that game, in that situation, given that we need him the next time out.
Boy, that is so. He even defends him, to an extent, and almost sort of puts it on himself a little bit. I don't know. Oh boy, that just he doesn't have an answer. You know what I mean? So he hates the team and the way that they played. He defended the goalie who, by analytics, had the worst game
And apologized to the fans.
in track history. Yeah.
He apologized to Devils fans.
Apologized to the fans.
That's
Sort of took
remarkable.
some accountability himself. But, we've been saying this while the Devils have been struggling. I haven't really seen anyone mention Sheldon Keefe as a potential casualty here. And
I don't think they think it's his fault.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I mean, Devils fans, even in the live stream last night, we were talking about it. They were like, we got nothing against Sheldon. It's not his fault.
Yeah, the roster construction is poor. There were holes on this team, and Tom Fitzgerald chose not to fill them.
Someone I spoke to yesterday, it's very obvious Tom Fitzgerald is getting fired. But what they said was he's not as easy to replace as you might think. And they didn't mean Tom Fitzgerald specifically. It's just you're firing your GM. With Buffalo, it was very obvious Kevin Adams was getting replaced by Jarmo Kekalainen if they ever pulled the trigger there. I don't know what the solution is in New Jersey, but this can't continue. This is torture.
But what is the next guy gonna do? It doesn't really.
What has Jarmo done?
Well, yeah, you're right. He's just.
You know what I mean?
He just showed up and said we're gonna be better, and everybody's agreed, and then they won a bunch of games.
It's 2026. The new coach bump is out. The new GM bump is in.
Yeah.
I don't. Listen, you cannot play your next home game as the Devils having not made a change. You can't.
I think you definitely can.
I think they're going
they
to.
probably will.
In fact, they will.
Okay.
I think
My money would be on, he's still the GM next Wednesday.
Try Devils fans then.
I think so.
Try them.
So what's interesting is obviously the Andre Palat thing is pretty much over. I think he might be cooked. right? Or he might
That's
be
such
cooked
a
in this
shame.
scenario. It is a shame, but obviously the money is so significant that, maybe he's an NHL player still, but no team is going to be like, yeah, we'll take $6 million for Palat.
Yeah,
You know
you
what's
can't
gonna be
trade him.
You know what's going to be crazy is when he goes back to Tampa, salary retained, and is great again.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure John Cooper will find a way. He'll put him on the
100%.
Canadian Olympic team.
not?
But
They need a grinder.
But the other guy is obviously Dougie Hamilton. Between the two of them, that's $15 million that the Devils would prefer not to have on their books. And I'm not saying Dougie Hamilton's a bad hockey player, but I do question who's taking Dougie Hamilton at $9 million right now, especially after the injuries. It's not that the play's not there; it's the injuries.
Well, let's take a grenade, pull the pin with our teeth, and huck it. The Oilers have Trent Frederick and Andrew Mangiapane making millions of dollars to not play hockey right now.
Yeah.
So there are teams out there who are looking to dance.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not
But
saying
then-
those two for
But
Dougie
then you need Dougie Hamilton to accept a trade to Edmonton.
or Palat or
Palat. I don't know about
Or-
Palat.
or.
Edmonton. He's got 3 more years. You might as well just keep Mangiapane.
Frederick's got 7,
Yeah. Well,
but making less. You gotta spitball.
right.
You gotta do something because if you're firing Tom Fitzgerald for the mistakes he's made,
Mm-hmm.
but once that's done, all right, now it's solution time.
Right.
What do we do here? What do
Yeah.
we do? Do they just try to wait this out until Jack Hughes' hand is okay and they start maybe winning a few more games?
I think that's probably what you do this year. I don't know what you can do.
cool. Well, his brother's gonna get booed again.
And here's the thing. The Devils in the standings, obviously they've sunk precipitously, but they're not that far out of it. They're still 3
No
points
one
out
in
of-
the East is.
But the Devils' problem is like how bad they've been recently.
Yeah.
Since November 29th, they are 31st in the league in terms of total points accumulated. They've
that
played
good?
19 games in that span. They're 6-12-1. The only team worse than them are the Jets, who are 3-10-5
Thank
of
you.
11 points.
Adding to
My
that,
OCD couldn't go on without you saying who 32nd was.
they have the
10
worst goal differential in the Eastern Conference.
Oy.
Yeah. So
Well, now.
now, yes, now they do.
Adam, just note on that. Do you want to know who's 30th in the league since November 29th?
Oh no.
30th in the league since November 20th.
Why would I ask Adam?
Because it's the Ducks.
Because it's the Anaheim Ducks, who
Yeah,
have only
they've been
14
buddy.
points since November 29th. They're
Leo-
6-11-2.
Leo Carlson, I think, has 1 point since December 15th. Like I'm sitting here. I'm like, my fantasy team is dying, Leo. You must turn this around.
Team Sweden probably thinks the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Devils, there's evidence here that, okay, they might be close in the standings where they are, but every team in the East is kind of close. They've been playing terrible hockey here for a month and a half.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Like most of the teams in this conversation aren't even that bad by their record, which is crazy.
What, LA?
Well, okay. Winnipeg and New Jersey and the Ducks are all awful, but most of them are like hovering around 500.
Yep.
Yeah, but the Devils started 8-1, and that propped them up, and they've
Yeah.
been terrible. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
You got to eventually say that the team is who they are.
And
Yeah.
LA's been struggling a lot more than people realize, I think.
The records can lie because of how the NHL's ridiculous point system works, and everybody looks above 500 and kind of there, but in reality they've been struggling for a long time, and they haven't been very good outside of a couple decent stretches where they
Yeah.
collected some points.
At some point, they got to be done with nightmare seasons, right? Like, how many of those can you have consecutively before it's just like, oh, we're bad,
Yeah.
you know? And like, I didn't think they were bad,
I think they're a one guy team right now.
and that
They
guy's
win in-
wearing a mitten.
Yeah. They win or lose based on Jack Hughes. And
I think they're
right
better
now,
than that.
but I agree with you, but
Yeah.
right now the results would suggest they were really good. He injured his hand. They've been really bad. What else? Like, what else has there been?
I think the roster problems go much deeper than that.
No one is gonna like this comparison, but are they the East's Vancouver Canucks, where every like year in and year out, where we're like, well, they have
All these good players.
more talent than their record shows.
Yeah, I think they are.
Like for like not so much this year, although I think I had the Canucks a little higher than this, but for at least half a decade, we're like, well, they can make some noise. And they made noise once, and I was like, I was right. And that was it. That was it. Well, I am the bubble, but no one was there. And also, you didn't go to the conference final. Like, how much noise was it, really? That's noise by Leaf standards, but let's aim a little higher, shall we?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going all over the place here. I'm baffled by how bad the Devils are.
You're talking about when you're talking about their consistent, it's a disaster year. That stretch they've had recently, I think it's fascinating to look at, because after they go to the Stanley Cup final, they don't make the playoffs for 4 consecutive seasons, right? We're like, Devils are rebuilding, they're kind of bad. They go to the playoffs in 18-19, then they miss the playoffs in 19, 20, 21, and 22. And then that's that era where the Devils fans, you guys were right in that they always propped up the team. They're like, it might be this year that all of our young guys hit. And you talked them down a little because you were like, every team has this.
Every single team, 32 out of 32 fan bases think their crop of prospects is great.
Yes. And so that 4-year stretch, and you're going back and forth with them, they're always committed to their team. And then in the 22-23 season, it hits.
Yep.
And that's the year they blow out expectations, because we thought they'd be amongst the bottom teams, how they were the previous 4 years. And then everything hits in 23. They win the
That's
first
when I got
round
my pajamas, wasn't it?
That's that full year where we went at Devils fans and they were right, and you got the pajamas, you did the whole thing.
And by the way, can I just say,
it was so much fun.
I'm jumping in for just a second.
go
I'll
ahead.
hand it back over.
Yeah.
You guys were fucking dicks. I just want you to know that. You guys were fucking dicks, all of you. All of you. All of you. And listen, I had fun because Devils fans have been really cool about it since. But like, you guys, there's some amongst you who were total fucking assholes. And it's kind
And
of
Adam
hilarious.
hasn't held on to it.
No, I think it's worth. What's interesting
No, you're
about
right.
Devils fans, and I'm coming
I
back.
saw
To,
it.
I'm coming back to you, Jesse. I'm sorry.
No.
Is that I find Devils fans are a mixture of Islanders fans and Philly fans, and every once in a while,
that's fair.
you go. They got the Islanders fans smaller than the Rangers' passion, right? Because the Rangers are the big boy in town, whatever, in New Jersey, and the Islanders are just off in the corner. And then they got the Philly, Yeah, motherfucker, huh?
Yeah,
You're gonna say shit about me, are you?
Yeah,
And so there's a little bit of that. And what's interesting about it now is all of them are united in assholery for the management group, and I think that's been fascinating because Devils fans, there's the two sides. There's the guys who are just the ardent dickheads, and then there's the people, most people who are like, I'm a normal Devils fan and I love the Devils, go Devils.
Yes.
And now they're all kind of like, let's all be assholes to one, maybe two people. Now, Jesse, after the 2023 season, what happened?
So my long belabored point is that 23 season, after it set it all up, expectations change.
Yes, they did.
That's what happens. 23 happens. They're a good team. We all think, oh shit.
They bought like crazy too.
They have a bunch of talent. They're going out. They're buying every year now. Expectations change. The following season, they miss the playoffs. And we can excuse it because it's what, Steve? A disaster year.
Season. Everyone got hurt.
Those happen.
Everybody got hurt.
Everybody gets hurt. Those happens. But expectations are still at the 23 season level. So we enter last season. Pretty good season.
Brand new coach.
The coach gets fired. They bring in Keefe. New season, new coach. Expectations are still high. They make the playoffs, but down the stretch, everybody gets injured. And what happens? They flame out in the first round. They win one game against the Hurricanes. They're done.
I had them beating Carolina.
Yeah, but
whoops.
we kind of excuse it as another disaster season. But the expectations entering this season are again still at the 23 level. And eventually we can't just do disaster season again.
Is that not the last 5 or 6 seasons of the Canucks in a nutshell?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like that's them.
Yeah.
There's the one season where we go, nope.
Yeah.
And
so I think now we have to face the reality where it's not just, oh man, Jack Hughes missed 10 games. That's their season. It's no, the Tom Fitzgerald Devils that they've built might not be good enough. And we have to look at the 23 season as the anomaly. And the 2 previous seasons and now 3 seasons are what they are.